5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody.
Happy Monday, guys. We're back.
It's StreamGeeks Live, and today we are talking about OBS, Open Broadcaster Software, new release 23.
Very exciting stuff. We're happy to have you back too, Paul.
I'm so happy to be back. I just
Are
got
you,
back
though?
from the Bahamas. Not as happy as I've been in the past, but I am happy to say that Open Broadcaster Software has made some major improvements, even some inklings of a business plan, not a traditional business plan. They are a non-for-profit open source company, but there's some really interesting stuff that's making me feel very good about the promising future for Open Broadcaster Software. So we'll talk about it soon. Hi, Anders.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We're going to talk about quite a new features that OBS now supports, like this NVIDIA, what is it, NVENC support for that technology. So very exciting.
Yes. Hi, Ken. The NVIDIA support is huge for OBS. For those of you trying to do a lot with OBS, multiple cameras, PCIe capture cards, desktop captures, it's taxing on your CPU, and it's a really good idea to use your GPU now. It's a big update if you use NVIDIA. Now, Twitch support is also much enhanced with the OBS 23 release. Not only can you automatically log into Twitch and Mixer, but you can now, and I have this here, I'm just going to read this. You can now connect Twitch or Mixer accounts directly into OBS without having to enter instead of having to enter the stream key. You can also, this connection to your account allows you to have new dockable windows, which include chat, stream dashboards, and stream information, depending on the platform. This is a pretty big deal. They say it'll reduce CPU usage a little bit as well if you were running that stuff from a web browser input. So pretty cool.
Very nice. What do we have next here? There are some different ways to support OBS, so we can't forget about supporting OBS as a platform because it is a free software. Patreon, and what's this other one? Connect?
Open Collective.
Open Collective, that's what it is. So you can support OBS and their growth as well on those platforms, so be sure to check that out.
Yes, I'm already supporting them on Patreon. Interested to see the community grow there. And also, Open Collective, almost $18,000 have been raised. And that's really to get the main contributors to OBS some funding so that they can maybe set aside more time in their busy day to work on this program. Those two things between Patreon and Open Collective makes me feel like this is a major step forward in the development of OBS, where people are going to start taking it a lot more seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I am very excited to become a serious contributor in the Open Collective area from either the StreamGeeks or the PTZ Optics brand. So that will be fun. We're also going to tell a funny story about the creator of OBS.
I'll be interested to hear that myself.
The infamous Jim, which we'll talk about. But I also want to mention that we have a free course on OBS. So if you're interested in learning some of the latest and greatest stuff, including the new tech, NDI, and much more, check that out on Udemy. You can take the free course, coupon code OBS3. So let's take a quick peek at the 23 software, which has some other stuff that's really cool. Hi, Jason. And then Tess and I are going to go into story time and talk a little bit about the kind of miraculous, funny start to OBS. So let's launch up OBS 23 here, and you'll see that if you go into the help section that you can look at the updates. And when you check for the updates, you'll see we're actually on 23.0.1, which includes some hot fixes for some small bugs. But the main things are the Twitch and Mixer integration we talked about, and the NVENC encoder, which gives better performance and has new features. This version is specifically for use with single PC setups, where it will further help minimize the impact of encoding on games while you're playing. Of course, they're always talking about gamers. Not all of us are gamers, but note that these performances are not available on Windows 7. So we're talking about Windows 10 generally. That's true with vMix and Wirecast as well, with some of the more advanced NVIDIA encoding options. But I also wanted to mention that there's a whole bunch of other general changes, including a limiter for audio and expander for audio. I also noticed there's a new beta feature available for closed captioning using Windows Live closed captioning.
That's going to be really exciting.
So I haven't looked at that yet. I'm very interested in that. There's more dockable menus, but that just gives you a peek. I want to go into story time. We use OBS quite a lot in this studio. We use vMix as well, and Wirecast, and the new tech NDI a whole lot. And we actually have 3 studios. So today, we are going to have Studio 1. We're going to go into Studio 2. And then eventually, we're actually going to go into a podcast studio, all in this same live stream, all using the new tech NDI.
This will be the second time we're using our newest studio, so we're excited for you guys to check that out.
Hopefully, it all works perfectly. Of course, we're always up for hearing, critiques, and let us know if the audio's off a little bit. Anything, let us know. But we're going to walk over there and check it out and do a little story.
Let's do it.
All right. See you guys in just one moment. The packs are over there, right? Okay, cool. Here we go. Walking over to the new studio. In just one moment, we'll be live. Here we go. Of exactly
Yeah,
what
we have a
the
confidence
output is.
monitor now. How exciting is that?
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
So we've got that going on.
No audio.
Okay. We definitely have audio. It's Mike needs to turn it on. Is it on now, Mike? All right, great.
There we go.
Okay, great. There we go.
Sorry for that.
Just working out some of the kinks.
This is our first time doing this type of transition, and I didn't even know we were switching audio packs. I'm assuming Michael might not have known that either. Did you know
well,
that?
I talked to him about it. He just, it's a lot going on.
It's
a
a
lot of
lot.
new stuff.
So
we still have our lower thirds IC test. Someone just said it's very nice of you to say so. And now we're going to go into a little story time. And Mike has PTZ control of 2 cameras.
Sasha.
Hi, Sasha. Audio's back. Hi, Yuda. We're just, the StreamGeeks show for us, too, by the way, is a lot about testing new things.
For sure.
So Michael has control of this PTZ Optics camera. It's .70.
And it's our first day back live in over a week.
Yeah, and we're a little rusty, so
we gotta work out the kinks, especially before NAB in a few weeks.
But let's go into story time. We've got Mike as our producer, and we also have Melissa, who's going to be joining in the podcast.
Thank you, Francois.
In just a moment. And if all goes well, we will have a 3 studio set live stream in just 20 minutes or so, let's say. So OBS was born out of its author's own frustration. In 2012, so that means it's been about 7 years now, Hugh Jim Bailey wanted to stream Starcraft. Is anyone else a Starcraft fan? So he wanted to stream Starcraft
put your hands
to
up.
his other buddies and his friends. And someone told him about an application that he could use to do so. And when he discovered that it costed a subscription to use the app, he said he decided to build it himself. And in his own words, he said, when I had first had an interest in streaming StarCraft and games for my friends to see, I heard about a certain other app out there, and I thought, a subscription? Seriously? I could probably build this myself.
Oh,
and that's exactly what he did.
So 2 or 3 months later, after much learning and much toil, he completed the first public alpha version of the streaming application. This app supports capture cards, webcams, as well as a software desktop capture. You can make scenes, bitmap overlays, and it even has a plugin API so developers can add their own functionality to the app. It's fairly simple in design and relatively easy to use. It's also written entirely in C, /C++, I have no idea what that means, and Direct 3D11 to maximize performance. Best part is it's entirely open source and free of charge. And we know since this has been written, there's been a lot of features added as well.
Yeah, I mean, the features go on and on. It looks like we're getting in a couple OBS questions here and there, so we'll answer them. And Christopher Kywell is saying, my audio seems a little clicky. So thank you, Christopher.
Paul can be a bit clicky himself.
That can be, it might actually just be me. Melissa is actually tuning the audio as we speak. So
Jay says, OBS question. Yesterday during my live stream, the audio went off and had to switch to default audio for it to work. I've been using a Behringer audio interface with audio settings are at default, and the Behringer are as inputs. And the Behringer as inputs into OBS.
That's a difficult question to try to dive into right now, so I'm going to continue with story time.
Okay.
So since that original version created by Jim in 2012, OBS has taken a new life of its own and grown far beyond what the small project for live streaming games that the author had originally conceived. In its initial post on Reddit, inside a section dedicated to Starcraft, he had asked the community to test the software and report back any bugs or issues that they discovered. The response was immediate and overwhelming. From that point forward, OBS took off and has never looked back. And I'm interested in becoming more and more involved in this community because there's 50-something thousand people in a Discord channel, and it's just a humongous community. So by adding Patreon, Open Collective, supporting these authors that have spent so much time of their own time on this.
And yeah, and we're also contributors in the way that our company has made some developments for the app as well.
Yes.
With our PTZ functionality for Mac and PC.
Yeah, so we actually have built an app and a plugin, so I feel like we're benefiting from the part of the crew. And it says here, with the help of an army of online collaborators,
I'm sure.
It really is spreading the knowledge and use of this program. Development on the software has improved version after version. And in 2014, work on producing a rewritten version of OBS was known as the OBS Multi-Platform. OBS Multi-Platform was designed to offer multi-platform support, so beyond just Windows, and a more robust feature set and more efficient API. So it was later named OBS Studio. And see, this is kind of where I started. Like when I first started using OBS, this was before OBS Studio. And when OBS Studio finally came in and you had the ability to do transitions and updates to what used to be OBS Classic, which is no longer supported anymore, the newer versions have surpassed the classic version. And it really is just a great piece of software. Now it's used by high-end productions and small streamers alike at this point. So that concludes story time. I'm very interested to see how that turned out on the on-demand replay. By the way, I forgot to mention, our YouTube is down. So we usually stream to YouTube. And when we went to our live streaming area, it got the little monkey with the server 500 error, internal server error.
Yeah, YouTube Live is down right now. I know the World of Live Streaming guys. One of them's in the chat. I don't remember who it was. I can go find it. They said that they were having problems going live on YouTube as well. So
okay, so we're not the only ones. We should definitely do a tweet or something so other people don't feel like they're the only ones. Although it's funny because I saw live streams on YouTube. It's just like getting in if you don't have your key handy and perhaps you're trying to schedule a stream, which we like to do.
Well, if you have a consistent show, it kind of stinks. But what can you do? That's the internet for you, and that's streaming in a nutshell.
Okay, so step 3 is move to the podcasting studio.
Yes, we're migrating again.
For the first time ever. Let's see if we can pull it off.
From this studio to that studio. That's the first time?
I guess all 3. I don't think
because it didn't work out last time.
We had some technical issues, so we're gonna try it.
Let's see you there.
Melissa, are we okay?
Yeah.
All right. Boopity boo, beepity bee. Test. 1, 2.